In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, I bear witness that there is but one God whose proper name is Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger. I greet you, my beloved brothers and sisters, in the greeting words of peace. We say it in the ancient tongue of Arabic. Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.
Beloved brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, and even the enemies, here we are once again. This is your brother Leo Muhammad, accompanied by my beloved wife, Sister Claudia Muhammad, first time on camera. So, you know, this is it, family. Another episode. I think this is episode 65. 65 is going to be a little bit different tonight. We're not able to bring you our usual PowerPoint presentation and so on and so forth. If you can see behind me, it says Imagination, reflecting with Brother Leo Muhammad. And so tonight we just want to do a little bit of reflection, just have a fireside chat and, you know, see how we go, because I have so many things in truth, dear family, on my mind, on my heart, and just really wanted to touch base with you on this particular episode of Imagination, you know, and to hear from you. So don't forget, dear family, if you have something that you want to share, jump in the chat, man, and, you know, let us hear and see what it is that you want to share with us, because we've got to become a global family. We've got to become a nation without borders. We've got to, as a people, really begin this serious process of recognizing our brothers and sisters wherever we are in the world. And even within our small groupings, within our neighborhoods or whatever, we need a change of attitude. This is my personal belief. This is how I feel about the whole situation. Bearing in mind that my standpoint, I'm coming from, you know, being a registered member of the Nation of Islam, following the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad as taught and exemplified by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. That's the foundation, that's the standpoint, that's the direction, that's where I'm coming from, where we're coming from. And therefore, it's all about nation building. But nation building is a huge concept. It's massive. And by the way, you know, because we're not in our usual place, so if we disappear from time to time, it's just that we've done our best with the camera, but you know, it's not great. So sometimes if we move too much, we might disappear and come back again.
I see. Look, I've gone.
Come back, beloved. But it's a huge concept. But what you do is like when you have multiple jobs that you have to do, the worst possible thing you can do is focus on the totality of the work that you have to do. What you have to do, dear family, is start with one job and then move on to the next job and then the next job, and eventually that huge amount of work will be done. But you can't focus on the totality, otherwise you'll just never get started, because it looks too daunting. And so the same principle applies when we're talking about nation building, dear family. We got to start with self. We got to look at our families. You know, we got to look at the community. We got to really, you know, we got to really look at the incremental stages of nation building, as opposed to trying to focus on, you know, all of a sudden, magically, abracadabra, we're going to have this up and running nation. I hope you get where I'm coming from. And we have a lot of problems that are currently besetting us as a people in the black community. And one of the recent stories that's jumped out at me is this, you know, our young brother, Nichols, in America, who was beaten to death by 5 black so-called law enforcement officers, police officers. If they were genuine law enforcement officers or police officers, in other words, peacekeepers, that what happened the other day could never have happened. Now, I haven't seen any of the videos, I haven't seen the detail. I've just heard, and I've just been reading reports about what occurred. But I can tell you, dear family, based on what I've read, based on what I've heard, my blood is boiling. Because you see, this type of thing, if you listen to the mainstream media, what they will attempt to do most of the time is tell you that, you know, this is something unusual. You know, this is not the norm. This is as a result of some bad apples or whatever, the excuse that they like to use. But in reality, dear family, this type of thing is happening far too much. It's happening continuously. And at a certain point in time, you have to get to a stage where you reason, using reason and logic, where you realize that, well, this can't be an accident. This can't be coincident. This must be by design, you see. And again, if you understand who we are as a people and how Pharaoh, the wicked ruler that enslaved the children of Israel, said, come, let us deal wisely with them. Let's plot and scheme against them. Let's kill all of the males. Let's kill the boy babies. Let's kill them before they multiply and join on to an enemy and come against us. So you got a lot of paranoia going on in the white power structure. You got a lot of fear going on, a lot of guilt based on what has happened, what's transpired over the last 400 plus years. That they know that they are as guilty as sin. And as a result of that, they don't want the truth ever coming out. They don't want us to realize what has actually been done to us. They don't want us to develop a vengeful mentality. But whether we develop it or not, the creator of the heavens and the earth, the God, the living God today says, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. And so, you know, family, I'm very disturbed by what has taken place with these murderous individuals, beaten to death an innocent young black man who could be the brother of any of us, the son of any of us, the cousin or the uncle, the nephew. He could be the son of one of those so-called police officers, because they're all black. And what we should be contemplating and looking at and asking the questions about is, what would motivate 5 so-called police officers, black, like the brother they are beaten to death? What would motivate him to behave in that manner, in that fashion? These are the types of things that, you know, if you have a comment on it, I'd like to hear, because, you know, I'm not arrogant. I'm not being arrogant when I tell you that I know what the motivation is, dear family. I know why they did what they did in the manner in which they did it. And we'll touch on that. Because we've got to understand the nature of the white supremacist system in which we live. And how those of us who join that system, join their institutions, become a part of a mindset, become a part of a culture. Have you heard the culture in America where they say, I'm not black or I'm not white, you know, as so-called police officers, I'm blue? You know, talking about the uniform. Have you seen in the UK where they've now got a Union Jack that they wear, and the Union Jack is traditionally red, white, and blue. But now this Union Jack is kind of blue and got maybe some black in it, or whatever. They're talking about the thin blue line. This is like so it's like gang colors. It's like gang colors.
No, sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm quite stiff because I keep disappearing. So
Yes.
if I appear like a wooden spoon this evening, it's because I keep disappearing. Sorry.
Yeah.
They
No.
actually did that with, okay,
Go
some of the
ahead.
comments.
Let's pick up
Okay.
what people saying.
Brother Victor,
Mm-hmm.
Assalamu alaikum, he said they actually did that with the sixth officer. White officer was recording it.
That's right. I read that also, and apparently on one of the videos that he was filming, he was one of the main people who filmed the brutal assault by the five against the brother. But it was a white man who was filming it. And, you see, you don't see him in the picture with the other five, but he should be in the picture. He's a part of it. If he wasn't a part of it, if he was some innocent bystander, if he didn't take part in it, if he wasn't condoning of it, then he would have jumped in there and put a stop to that. You see, but they want to put the five brothers up there because, believe it or not, that's supposed to throw most of us into confusion. Oh my God, it's blacks who are doing it to another black man. Well, we can't call that racism. No, it's total and utter, outright racism. You see, because once you've been immersed in that culture of white supremacy, I'm sure many of you will have heard me say it before, okay? We got black people, blacker than me, who are avowed white supremacists. How do you think you can have an experiment in the 50s with little children being given a black doll and a white doll, and these little black children, when asked which of these dollies is the bad one,
Or the ugly one.
or the ugly one, that they will turn around and choose the black one. And when the question is asked, which of these look more like you, they're not choosing the white one, they're choosing the black one. So what does that say about how they've been brainwashed into thinking about themselves? They are being taught self-hatred. Do you understand that those five so-called police hate themselves? They hate themselves because of white supremacy. They're bought into this idea that the white man is supreme. They would never dream of doing what they did to that brother to a white man.
That's right.
White police officers ain't doing it. And certainly you ain't getting no five black so-called police officers doing that to some white citizen. It ain't happening, beloved. It is not happening. But when they saw that brother, even the approach, and I heard one of our beautiful brothers back in the UK breaking it down, and he explained how all of you will have seen police traffic stops in the past. And dear family, when there's a traffic stop, if there is any suspicion on the part of the police officer that the person in the car may be a potential runner, a potential armed individual, or somebody who's dangerous in any way or form, you know how the police do that. You know that they stand away from the vehicle, they stand off, they give instructions to the driver to keep their hands on the steering wheel or whatever, or to get out of the car, to get on the ground, kneel down, whatever. There are precautions that they take when they feel that as officers, they may be in danger. But according to what I've read and according to the reports, one of these so-called policemen basically ran straight up to that car. What him running straight to the car, what that demonstrates is that he felt no danger to his life. Do you understand? He didn't feel threatened in any way. He was the aggressor. He felt that he had all of the power and all of the strength in that circumstance, in that situation. So he ran straight to the car, opened the driver's door, and dragged the brother out, and then began throwing him around like a rag doll. That's not somebody who feels under threat. That's somebody who is a bully. That's somebody who is a brute. That's somebody who's using brute force against a person who is posing no threat whatsoever. And again, according to the reports and what I've read, the brother was passive, asking the question, what's going on? What have I done?
That's what Brother Victor said. The brother was a lovely soul that was never confrontational.
Never confrontational. See? So this is why we're talking about this, dear family. We're talking about this because, again, how many of us appreciate that system, whether it's in North America, whether it's in the UK, or any of these other European nations, European orientated nations, because, you know, we're talking about Australia, where the Aboriginal people, the black people, have almost been made extinct. Never mind police brutality, they're almost non-existent now. And those who are still around, many of them are alcoholics, many of them are on drugs, many of them are in the prison system, many of them are in mental institutions, many of them are on the streets living rough, many of them are classified as an underclass of people. They've been criminalized to the degree where they've become the criminal class of Australia. This is real. This is what has been done to us as a people. Not that we did it to ourselves. It's been done to us. It's been institutionally enacted against us. And this is the condition that so many of our people around the world find themselves in when they're under a European, Eurocentric life system. This is the reality, dear family. And so, why pick on this case? Because the question is, do we think that this is going to change? and they're going to change. And they're going to stop doing what they have been doing. See? Because this is just a modern day lynching.
That's right.
Just the fact that it was carried out by 5 blacks as opposed to the slave master himself. You need to go back and study what the overseers and the black employees of the slave master used to do to the black people on the plantations.
Well,
same thing.
Well, True Religion from YouTube said that's what you call the hidden hand. DJ Mr. P said they hate themselves so much that they murdered that poor young brother. And Brother Victor says the police officers worldwide, some of them behave that way because they get backup, so they will be bullies because of that. That's
right. And again, it's how they've been trained.
That's right.
They've been trained. Did you know, dear family, that police officers are actually supposed to be servants of the people? I just wanted to just reflect on that. We're reflecting with Brother Leo Muhammad this evening, dear family. Just reflect on the fact that a police officer is actually supposed to be a servant of the people.
That's right. You'd never think that in the UK or America. Would you? You wouldn't even ask them anything.
How do you behave? I'm talking to you who are here with us this evening on the Imagination Show. How do you behave when you're driving down the road and the police come up behind you?
Well, you drive the same. You're the same.
Yeah, I drive the same.
Yes.
But I'm saying, your average person these days, they get a bit nervous.
Yes.
They
Right
slow down. They start to behave in a particular way when there are police around.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that? Why is it that you are so nervous of the police officer who's supposed to be there to be your servant, to assist you and to help you, to allow society, if he's a peace officer, he's supposed to allow society to flow peacefully. So if you are a peaceful person, that's what a Muslim is, by the way. That's why we say Assalamu alaikum, peace be unto you. You know, if you're a Muslim and you say Assalamu alaikum to somebody, but you all you do is create trouble everywhere you go, you're a liar, man. You're not a Muslim. You're saying you're something, but you are acting something different. Dear family,
You disappeared.
I know. It's just really, really important that we reflect. You know, I actually saw evidence of a police officer being a servant just yesterday. Because my wife and I were out in the street, and my wife needed a bathroom. She needed to go to a toilet. And we were not sure where to go. So just explain, beloved, what happened, what you did, what you said.
No,
Just
the
in
police officer was.
Well,
she was very helpful. She said, "Oh, because you're a female. If you were a male, I wouldn't have bothered with you. But because you're a female, I won't take you to the public toilets. I will take you to my friend's restaurant where you can go use the bathroom there." That is not the norm.
No, but there's a reason I asked you to explain that. You see, beloved, at the moment, just to let you know that we're actually on the continent of Africa. That's all I'm going to tell you. That's where we are. We're in Africa at the present time. But I just want you to think about that different attitude, okay? Think about approaching a police officer. And I'm not suggesting for 1 minute that all police on the continent are like that, because again, many of them have been subject to the same training. They've come and they've studied at Hendon College in the UK. They've gone and they've studied the New York Police Department or the LA Police Department, and there's all kinds of interchangeability going on a global scale. They've been infiltrated by the various security forces and agencies and secret agencies of the West. I mean, so don't think I'm going to be some naive person here. I'm talking about your average police officer on the ground in some of these African nations where for instance, you will see two male police officers walking along the road holding hands. And there's nothing funny going on. There's no gay stuff going on. Where when you meet police officers, you can actually smile and laugh and have a good conversation with them. And they're ordinary people, and they behave.
Human.
They behave like human beings, not this robotic, force. This I'm a police officer. You must be scared of me. It's not like that, dear family. And so, again, that experience that my wife had yesterday is the ultimate experience that you and I should expect, and that you and I must work to bring about in this world. Any kind of system that we build, because by the way, do you realize that when we build our nation and when we have our own systems in place, that we're going to need police? Because some of us would think, oh, we're just some anti-police people. No, you have to have law and order. But our police will be there to assist the people.
That's right.
Our police will be there to help the people to go about their business in a peaceful and beautiful way. And it's only if somebody should come along who wants to break the peace, who wants to be a thief or a criminal in some other way, to inflict violence on a peaceful community and a peaceful family and a peaceful society and a peaceful nation, well, such persons have to be dealt with. We have to have a military. But our military is not designed to go and invade and attack other people's countries. We don't have a foreign policy that says we are suspicious of other nations in the sense that, you know, we've got to have some kind of cold war going on with our next door neighbor. It's got to be a multipolar world where we respect the sovereignty of all nations, and they've got to respect us. Because if they don't respect us and they do attempt to attack us, we will defend ourselves. We will fight back. This is the world, dear family, that's coming in. Not a unipolar world like what the Americans and the British are trying to establish now, where they've got hegemony all over the planet, which they've had for a long time. They've had it for a long time. And I say again, and I don't make any apologies for saying this, Russia is resisting them. Okay, if you want to know what's really going on in Ukraine, Russia is resisting the West's desire to dominate the planet. Putin has said no. That's the reality. That's the reality. I know you've fallen for the hype. Oh, he's the aggressor. He's a terrible man. He's killing the poor Ukrainians. No, dear family. You've been propagandized. These are the same people who enslaved us, not the Russians, okay? Not the Russians. It was the Western Hemisphere. It was Britain. It was America, okay? Okay? It's the Australian whites who destroyed the Aborigines. It's the New Zealanders who destroyed the Aboriginal people there, okay? It's the same Europeans who went into the Indian subcontinent and messed up that part of the world. It's the same Europeans who went into the Orient and destroyed that part of the world. And they're now rebuilding themselves and coming out of the destruction that was heaped upon them by primarily Britain, okay, the British Empire. Understand this, family. And so when you turn around today, and by the way, you know, when we were fighting the liberation struggles in Africa against the colonizers, we got our Kalashnikovs from Russia. Did you hear what I said? We got our Kalashnikovs and we got our bombs and our weapons to fight against the colonial masters from the Russians. Do you understand why they don't like Russians? So, dear family, I want to hear from you. I want to hear what your thoughts are, what your views are. We're just reflecting tonight. I'm suggesting to us that, you know, this war, by the way, it's not about to end. They're now sending tanks to Ukraine. They have a vested interest in keeping it going and escalating it. And the more these NATO countries get involved, the more the Russians see that this is an existential threat against them. The more they recognize that this is not a war against their next door neighbor, Ukraine. This is a war against NATO and the Western powers. And when that realization is apparent, which it is, because this is what the foreign minister of Russia, Lavrov. This is what Putin, this is what all of them are saying, okay? They recognize that they are now fighting against NATO and the West, all right? America in particular and Britain. So what does that mean? That means World War III. That means it's only a matter of time before this thing, somebody makes a mistake and this thing is absolutely out of control. And then this progressive escalation. And so I'm saying to my brothers and sisters who are in Europe, what plans have you made? Because we have to get out. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, Europe will become a theater of war. Sister Claudia, please just remind us what the title of Saviour's Day 2023 is, because this is what is about to unfold. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is not a speaker of idle words.
That's right.
He's not an entertainer. He is the mouthpiece of God. He is the mouthpiece of Christ, the one that Christians and Muslims and all manner of people say they're waiting for.
That's right.
They're waiting for the Christ. But who's going to recognize him when he comes? And who's going to understand his words and his language? Because the scripture is clear. The scripture says he comes unto his own, but his own receives him not. Says that the light, in other words, knowledge, wisdom and understanding, enlightenment, says the light shines into the darkness. Darkness here represents pure ignorance. The light shines into the dark, but the darkness comprehends it not. There's no understanding about what's unfolding right now on our planet. What is the title of Saviour's Day 2023?
This Saviour's Day, the War of Armageddon has begun. Sunday, February the 26th. And what a blessing.
What a blessing.
To hear the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Well, we pray that Allah will bless us.
That's right.
To hear that message, dear family. But my wife says, what a blessing. And what a blessing it is to be given guidance.
That's right.
In a time of trouble like this, because the vast majority of the members of the human family haven't got a clue what is about to unfold, what's going on. And here we have a man.
That's right.
Who is missioned by God to warn humanity, to warn the nations. And, you know, when you study the scriptures, I think it was only Nineveh that heeded, Nineveh that heeded the warning.
That's right.
Everybody else is just, they're marrying, they're partying, they're having a good time, man.
They were saved.
When the end eventually comes. So, dear family, you know, what we're saying is that we should be really considering the time. Consider the time. And you should be making contingency plans. We have a plan for later on in March. We're going to have a meeting, right?
Yes.
Around the whole concept of survival, and it will be open to all of you to attend and to join that particular online meeting that will take place. So you will get information, we will put it out so that you can tune in at the time, because we have to know, we have to do what's called disaster preparedness and survival. We must have some techniques.
That's right.
That we can employ. We must know what foods to store in our houses. We must know how to purify water if that's necessary. We must have water stocked up. And again, you know, we can't be selfish, dear family. We got to, and in particular to the brothers, you got to think about your wives and your children. You got to think about your mothers and the female members of the family. You know this thing about women and children go first when the ship is sinking. See, we got to have that type of chivalry, and that type of mentality has got to come back, brothers. We can't be falling for this hype now that's in the world where we can no longer tell the difference between a man and a woman. Okay, and we don't want none of the brothers at the time when certain things go down talking about, oh, I'm a woman, I'm a female, because we ain't gonna be recognizing no pronouns like that. Okay, we're not gonna be changing nobody's sex. Just a little bit of levity, because it's heavy stuff that we're dealing with. But what I'm saying is, we have to begin to prepare.
And you say it's heavy stuff, which it is, but we have one that has come for us, the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan. There is hope. He always gives us hope.
Absolutely.
Which is a blessing, absolute blessing, because it's not all doom and gloom, because God is present.
That's right, beloved. And my wife says it's not all doom and gloom, and she's absolutely right. There's a scripture that says, as a man thinketh. And by the way, when it says man, I don't like the sisters to ever think this is some man thing. When it says man, it's talking about woman as well. And by the way, a woman, woo-man. It's just a man with a womb, okay? That's, we are related. We're counterparts of one another. We are two sides of the same coin, okay? The male and the female. And so when we say man, or sometimes they say mankind, it's talking about males and females.
But when you have a knowledge of yourself, you don't worry about that.
But a lot of people do.
Yes.
When the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan called the Million Man March, we even had some crazy sisters literally demonstrating against it.
I said, praise be to Allah.
Is this some sexist? No, dear family. Our sisters sent us off to the march. Okay, it was a time for the black man to step up.
That's right.
And show that he actually was alive, and that he was actually willing to take charge of the situation. And so, as a man thinketh, so is he. And I'm saying that because of what my wife just said in relation to this doom and gloom. See, this ain't about sitting around thinking in no doom and gloom.
No.
This is all about image and nation. See, not a destroyed nation, not a bombed out nation, not a burnt out nation, but image, a brand new nation taking form.
That's right.
Coming up.
That's right.
Like that phoenix from the ashes of this world.
That's right.
Dear family.
That's right.
This world is finished. But again, a lot of people, they hear that we're coming to the end of the world and they think that means the end of the earth. No, brothers and sisters. Long after you and I are gone, long after Joe Biden is gone, long after Vladimir Putin is gone, long after every human being on this planet is gone, this planet will be spinning.
That's right.
At 1,037 1/3 miles per hour.
That's right.
This planet is awesome. And it's delusions of grandeur that people suffer from when they think that they have the ability to destroy it.
That's right.
One, the living God would not permit it.
That's right.
And two, it's more awesome than you even begin to imagine.
And
yeah, it would swallow up your nuclear weapons, your explosions and whatever.
That's right.
And move on, because you haven't even got the level of explosives that our original scientists 66 trillion years ago used to deport the moon. You ain't got that kind of explosive. Only an original man could have come up with that one.
That's right.
And so, dear family, I don't want you to fret like, the planet is going to be destroyed. No. Some people are going to destroy themselves.
That's right.
And then we've got to be careful that we don't get destroyed along with them by not preparing ourselves for our process of survival and building.
That's right. That's why you have to be careful what you watch, what you feed your mind on spiritually, and what you eat physically, because it will all have an effect on how you feel within yourself, because it will make you fearful. But if you feed on the word of God, you're inspired, then you're able to see the light and walk therein. And that's what we have to do. Stop feeding on the news and everything. It's so negative, really, really negative, to bring your spirit down. You know, in the UK, everything is about bills, no heating bills going up, this going up, that going up, this murder, that murder. What about God? Where's God in the picture? And that's what we need to really feed on, the word of God. That's what will get us free. And Minister Louis Farrakhan is present here, that we can feed on truth. So this is what we need. We need to become that God-fearing nation that we used to be, how our parents were.
Absolutely.
Nothing was impossible.
Absolutely.
And that's what we need to get back to.
Absolutely. Beautiful.
And you're right, brother DJ Mr. P. I am Houdini this evening. I keep disappearing in and out. It's so frustrating, but Allah knows.
You keep disappearing, but at least you come back, beloved.
Praise be to Allah.
At least you come back. Praise be to Allah. Yeah, it's a wonderful thing, beloved. This process of thinking.
That's right.
You know, there is the concept of the glass being half full or the glass being half empty. Half. I'm a Jamaican, beloved. Never forget.
Yes.
I'm a Jamaican.
H.
Okay.
Half.
The H's suffer with us as a people. Okay, but the point is that, you know, how we think about it. You know, if you're thinking, man, I've got a glass and it's half full, that's great. It's
right.
half full, it's nearly full. You know, I can get some more and fill it up. But if it's half empty, it's like you're talking reductionism. It's going down.
Yes,
I'm running out.
yes.
You see the difference in thinking? And so, as a man thinketh, it's not just a slogan.
No.
We've got to change the thinking.
That's right.
You know, when we're on the continent and we look around, and man, there's so much that needs to be done.
So much potential.
There's so much that needs to be done. But you heard what the sister said. She said there's so much potential. We're not looking at what's not there. We're looking at the potential. You know the word essential, potential, the power. There's a potency there that's not yet being essentialized. Potential. There's so much possibility, and if we focus on possibilities and potential, man, we can bring that potential into reality.
That's right.
Actuality.
That's
We can actuate it, we can make it happen. But if we just look at what's in front of us and we can't see beyond that, it's like, you know, like I said, I feel very blessed as an individual, because believe it or not, I can see something that to another person may look quite broken or destroyed or useless, but I can actually see how that could be fixed up, repaired, and used again. I have that type of mentality, because I was born in an era where, for instance, I was born in Jamaica. In Jamaica, we would take an old, broken down bicycle, and we could fix it up and make it look new. That's the era. I remember taking one of my daughters in the UK to the bicycle shop because her seat had broken. The bicycle seat had broken. And so we were looking for a new seat. And I remember walking into the shop, and the Caucasian man who ran the shop I said to him, I need to get a bicycle seat for this bicycle. And the man said to me, he said, yeah, but why buy a seat, mate? Why don't you just
Get a new
get a
bike.
new bike? I wanted to slap him, really. See, because what they've cultivated now is this throwaway society.
Yes.
Throw it away, get a new one. You see? But I knew all I needed was a seat, and I could repair my daughter's bicycle, and then she could ride.
But you know, in the Caribbean or Africa, they would ride it without the seat anyway.
Exactly. Well,
So-
I wasn't gonna.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna ask her to ride it without a seat.
not.
But
no.
but the point is that
They wouldn't even think to throw it away.
Exactly.
That's the.
And in fact, no, but they would make a seat.
Yeah, they would make
They
a
would
seat.
make a
Yes.
wooden seat.
They would something.
They would fashion a seat out of
That's
wood.
right.
Then they would cover it in fabric. Believe me, this
Yeah,
is
they would make something.
this is the kind of creative people we are.
That's right.
And we've got to get back to that kind of thinking. I was just today. I was looking at this brother pointed out to me a bush, and this bush is so awesome that when you're gonna build anything here, you got to make sure that bush is not in the ground and you don't build on top of it, because that bush will find its way through concrete if necessary. But that same bush is a bush that they use for ailments of the stomach and whatever, you know. And again, you see, we're the people who originated aspirin, originated most of these drugs. See, most of these pills that you take, these were plants that were found by us as a people, cultivated and boiled and used whenever we got sick or something like that. All they've done with a lot of these pills now is that they've broken it down and put it into pill form, and they add a lot of madness. They add a lot of madness into it as well, and they call it medicine. But in reality, dear family, we have to get back to that creative character, which is our nature, and really start to do things that are innate for us. It's our nature that we solve problems based on our creativity, as opposed to relying on, you know, this synthetic mentality, which is totally non-creative. The man wanted me to buy a new bike when I knew that I could just fix the bike and it had plenty of life left in it. But, you know, unfortunately, many of us have fallen into this thing. I was teaching in a school several weeks ago in the UK, and again, I was pointing out to the students, these young black boys from around age, I think in that class at that time, they were all around 12 up to about 14 or 15. And I was showing them the shoes I was wearing. I said to them, these shoes that I'm wearing is older than every one of you in here.
Yeah.
And the shoes were still shiny and beautiful and strong, because I've had the soles repaired several times. Why, Leo? Why are you so stingy and so mean that you just don't throw the shoes out and go and get a brand?
Maintenance.
Because no, but also the shoes are awesome.
Yes. You don't
Proper
get things
shoes.
like that
You don't
anymore.
get shoes like that no
Yes,
more.
yes.
Proper leather.
Nothing is made to last.
Beautiful
Yes.
shoes, man.
Yes.
Strong and robust, but pretty at the same time. See? So that's what I'm saying, dear family. We have to really, again, begin to think outside of this box that they've got us in, where now, you know, I don't think most people even know how to clean their shoes anymore.
No.
If it gets dirty, throw it away, get a new
right.
one. Do you understand how much money is being wasted? And how, if those pounds or those dollars were being saved and you were, my wife used the term maintenance, if you were maintaining your
That's
things better, then you wouldn't have to be going out every minute and buying a new. I mean, you know, I see some of these celebrities, some of our celebrities, man, and it's like they've got to have 10,000 trainers. In the States, you call them sneakers. Why?
Right.
Why?
As Mr. Beverly said, it's because you value something.
Yeah,
Isn't
you
it?
got to put the value into the thing, man. People are buying. They got to have all of these. I mean, one brother said I think he only wears these trainers once, then he throws them away. And these are like $100, $150, maybe more. Why? Why are we so foolish? Why are we so extravagant? Do you understand how many people you could feed for that money that you're throwing away, man?
Exactly.
And some of our people are starving.
That's right.
Some of our people haven't got anything, but we've bought into this mentality. Do you understand? You've got African leaders who fly out of the continent on private jets, and they are drinking champagne on the plane, where the bottle costs thousands of dollars or pounds. This is the kind of abuse that's going on.
That's right.
When our people are starving, some of our people are still living in sheds and huts, and this is the type of behavior. See, and guess what? The white hostesses and the pilots and the other staff who are flying these people out, because it's not all blacks on there. You think they're not looking at what you're doing? You think they don't know that you don't give a damn about your own people?
That's right.
We're so naive, we're so foolish, and then we think that these people are going to respect us. They don't respect us. One thing about the Caucasian people, as wicked as they are, there's a degree of respect that they have for themselves and for their own people. But us, the way some of us behave, man, and then we wonder why the people don't show no respect to us. Some of us, we've hardly got any money. And we're going into these nightclubs and we're buying up expensive bottles of drink, and then we got a sparkler in the top of it, burning, running around, acting the fool, and they're throwing it on the floor, spilling it, and and this is big money that people are spending for these parties and these celebrations, and just wasting the little resources that you have, and then you turn around the next day and say, "Oh, I'm broke."
To be seen of men.
Yeah, we're spending money to be seen.
Yeah, no money, but you want the best.
Yeah, you're gonna hire a limousine.
That's right.
For your 20th birthday.
But you've got no food.
But you got no food. You got no proper way to survive. But you've got to have a limousine
just to be seen. And this is this world that we live in. Everything is so fake. It's on the surface of to have the best car, the best. Okay, it's nice to have a good time. But why are we doing it for others to see? Why do we not do it for ourselves?
Why are you not doing it for your own comfort?
That's right.
For your own well-being, for your own peace of mind. It's a different mentality.
That's right.
We have to develop a different mentality. One where we conserve our energy and use the energy for the right things in the right way.
That's right. Just looking at us disappearing, I know children who were getting told off would love to just disappear when their parents are shouting. They'd love that, wouldn't they?
Well, we did a sketch like that on The Real McCoy, where the character that I was playing was in the court. He had stolen equipment. He had broken into a Star Trek factory and stolen the equipment, and he was on trial in the court. And just before the judge was about to sentence him, he pulled out one of the Star Trek flips and said, "Beam me up, Scotty," and then he disappeared.
Wonderful, isn't it?
He disappeared. Yeah. Praise God. Dear family, I hope everybody is good. I want to hear from you. I want to comment on anything that you want to share around the topic. There's a lot going on.
Yes. Okay, I've got, where is it? It's Brother Abdul Rahman.
Okay.
He said, "Brother, I do bodybuilding, but I was told that I can't enter a show because I have only shorts on. I've been preparing for my, I can't see what it says properly. Is it IFBB Pro card for a while, and this national show called the Arnold class." But he also said,
named after Arnold Schwarzenegger, maybe. Go ahead.
He also said, "How do you manage your Islam and personal goals?"
I mean, let's deal with that, the first bit first. I'm not too sure what I can say about the bodybuilding contest. They're saying that you can't wear shorts, is what the brother
is it
said.
saying, are you saying that, brother, you can't wear shorts because of your religion? Why are you saying, what are you saying? Because he does, he said, but I was told that I can't enter a show because I have only shorts on.
Well, I mean, in Islam, you know, there's this myth that the women have to be completely covered up, and the men can go about in our little t-shirts and our shorts and whatever, and you know, that's not right. In the Holy Quran, which is the book of scripture of the Muslims, it says that both the male and the female should dress modestly. We should both dressed modestly. In other words, we should never really have our private parts kind of like on display in the public. We should really try to have those areas of our body concealed because they're private. That's why they're called private parts. They should not be emphasized into the public arena, hence all of the really tight clothes that the sisters wear, and you know, cleavage out and low cut things to have all the breast out and things of that nature. It's just not a good look. It's turning men into dogs. It's making people behave in a kind of animalistic way, because sex is a very powerful thing, man, and God fashioned it and ordained it that way. We're supposed to be attractive to one another, and so you don't want to attract a man or attract a woman on the wrong level for the wrong reasons. First of all, you want them to really get to know you based on your mind, based on your, you know, your character, based on your personality as opposed to your physical form. And so, you know, in terms of you taking part in a bodybuilding contest and wearing shorts, I mean, maybe you need to use your imagination, brother, because I think there was a Muslim woman recently taking part in athletics, and she had a bodysuit on. Okay, so she was running. She wasn't wearing the typical little shorts that the runners wear and whatever, which is, you know, for a female, it's very, there's a lot of exposure there. She was wearing a bodysuit. I think she had a little hijab and whatever. It was beautiful, and she was taking part. So again, we're creative people. Maybe you need to get one of those bodysuits that's like a superhero.
Yes.
A superhero body type suit that will enhance. If you're a bodybuilder, you could start a whole new trend. You could start a whole different way of displaying the body, if that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? But you know.
Well, Brother Victor said it's wearing briefs.
Oh, those little trunks.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't advise it, brother. Being in the public with some little thong, a man. You know, I mean, that's this world, brother. That's this world. You know, we kind of know what the man's body is. We know what the woman's body is.
Right.
Why do we have to? You know,
Yes.
okay, we've built the chest and we've built the legs and whatever. Okay, you know, and they have competitions. Use your creativity, man, and maybe have that area, you know, you should be covered. Really, shouldn't really be, that area shouldn't be enhanced and pushed into the public arena. And then the other part to the question was about how do you balance or manage Islam with
Your goals, hold on.
with your goals? It's an interesting dilemma, you know. I mean, bodybuilding is it's one of those areas that we got a lot of our brothers who are into that, and the big, and sisters as well, by the way. But you know, I'm not sure that that's necessarily the greatest display of our power, because again, the
real
part
power
of,
is there.
I mean, part of the problem
Mm-hmm.
with that, I think, quite often is most of these bodybuilders, then they start taking steroids
Yes.
and all of the drugs that go. I mean, if you're able to do these things completely naturally, chances are you're not really going to be able to compete with the steroid users and those ones. So I don't know. I don't know enough about it to really comment on it. But I'm sure, my dear brother, that there's so much more that you could do. Go ahead.
Yes, his
sister.
question was, how do you manage your Islam and personal goals?
Well,
One.
my Islam and personal goals is one and the
your
same,
life.
my dear brother. I mean, the sad thing about a lot of religious people is Christians do Christianity on Sunday, Muslims do Islam on Friday, Jews do the Sabbath on Saturday, and then for the rest of the week it's all hell breaks loose.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a good religion. We've really got to live this life
It's your
24
life.
hours,
That's
7
right.
days a week,
That's
man.
right. It's not something you pick up and put down.
Yeah,
it's your life.
Your goals have got to marry in
With God.
with your way of
That's
life.
right, that's
Islam is not a religion even, it's a way of life. It's a whole way of life. And the way we conduct ourselves behind closed doors should be the same way we conduct ourselves in the public,
That's
man.
right.
We shouldn't be conflicted. Let me give you an example. When I first started to do comedy, a very long time ago now, I was trying just before I came into Islam, before I came into the Nation of Islam, and I had this moustache and the hair like Eddie Murphy, and I tried the whole swearing thing on the stage. Man, it didn't. And then one night I performed on the stage, and my father came to the show, and I was cursing on the stage. My father walked out, man. That was the last time I cursed on the stage, because I didn't feel comfortable with it myself. But that just did it for me. And so I developed very quickly a style of stand-up comedy that we called edutainment, where we mixed entertainment with education, where I didn't just come and tell a whole bunch of jokes, especially jokes that were low down, below the waist or any filth. I never swore. At my shows, your grandmother could come and your young child could come to the shows. And they were hilarious. They were funny. They were, people were swinging from the chandeliers having a good time at my shows. But at the same time, I wasn't low down or filthy or, using profanity. It was wholesome. And because I had to adapt what I was doing to my way of life, which is a Muslim. I couldn't contradict my way of life by coming on stage, cursing, talking a whole lot of filth and madness, and then coming off and pretending to be holy and righteous. Come on, man. So that's what I say. You've got to figure out what your goals are, and then ask yourself, are my goals in keeping with my way of life, which is a Muslim? A Muslim is one who submits his or her will entirely to do the will of God. That means your life is dedicated to God. We saw a brother today wearing a t-shirt. What did that t-shirt say? Was it?
God? No.
Yeah, the fear of God or something.
Yes.
It was beautiful,
Yes.
but we got a similar t-shirt in the nation. I think Brother Victor may even have this t-shirt that
He
says
probably has.
the property of
Property
Allah.
of Allah. That's right.
Property of Allah. We belong to God,
That's
man.
right. That's right.
If you belong to God, you can't act like Satan.
No.
I hope that makes sense. But it was a beautiful question, brother.
Well-
it was taxing my brain, especially that bodybuilding part.
Well, True Religion said, create a new line and then make them respect your Islam. And that's the point, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You shouldn't have to compromise.
No, exactly. And again, you'd be surprised how much power you've got, brother. I mean, especially if you are a good bodybuilder. What I mean by that, if you've got an awesome body, come on, man, fashion some things that enhances that, and take it onto another level.
Yeah.
Start a different form
That's
of
right.
bodybuilding.
That's right.
Imagine a bodybuilding show where maybe you don't even see the body, but you're dressed in a way that enhances the body.
That's right.
You
Yeah.
see the shape. I remember there was a prison officer that I knew back in the day, and he took part in Mr. Universe, in the Mr. Universe contest. And I remember he used to get his shirts cut because he had this little small waist, but he had these huge shoulders, and his shirt was cut to fit his body. The brother looked awesome. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, you know, the Jamaican policemen back at they still dress.
They do that?
Yeah, they still wear, the red stripe. I think the striped dress, but they got like a big belt. The trousers high waisted. They're right up here, and you know, very very sharp, neat outfit. It's like a shirt it's like a blue shirt with a kind of stripe to it. They've got their pips or their numbers or whatever on their shoulders, but it's a very neat looking uniform. My uncle was one of those policemen in Jamaica, and I used to love to see the way he looked in that, because it's very sharp, very
clean.
sharp,
Yes.
clean lines. And by the way, you know, talking about clean lines, you know, you see, look at a good-looking car with clean lines and smooth lines, and it always strikes me how crazy it is today that they've got people dressing like tramps, just rough and nasty looking, and I think to myself, why do we like our vehicles to have clean lines and the airplane smooth and everything, and the house and everything's got to be sharp and crisp, but then you got the human being dressing like a mess.
Yes.
Just and we think that we're making progress by being a mess, having our pants down, our trousers down, around our backside, and like a tramp, and just things just. We say tramp in the UK. In the States they say bum, looking like a bum. Yeah. Why are we doing this to ourselves, man? Fix up, man. Get sharp. Look like an FOI. Look like an MGT. Fruit of Islam.
I was going to read Brother Victor's point, but I think you've written it wrong. Brother Victor, he was a top sportsman.
Oh yeah.
Yes. And he said, this is one of the reasons why the world took me off the sports broadcasting, because I'm sure I wouldn't present wearing jeans, tight t-shirt and having Sharon on my elbow. That's not my way of life. All praises due to Allah.
Yeah, they were scared of because he would want to wear his bow tie and suit and look sharp or whatever.
Can you tell them what he used to do?
Yeah, Brother Victor, our brother who's communicating with us right now on the Imagination show, he was one of the #1 top American football players in the UK. He's a member of the Nation of Islam UK, and he was part of the team, the great London Monarchs, that were bossing up people left, right, and centre. Brother Victor was one of their key players, man, and in fact, when they used to advertise the London Monarchs on the big billboards and everything, it was Victor's image that they would use, man. It was very, very awesome, beloved.
Check him out.
Yeah, you know, check out Victor Muhammad online, London Monarchs, and I'm sure you'll be able to see what our brother represented. He had this terminology that he always used, because Brother Victor also writes rhymes and raps, and he said, I got my mind on Muhammad and Muhammad on my mind.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And he had his big Muhammad on the back of his shirt, his football shirt. Yeah, man.
Yes,
yeah. You know, but a lot of people got nervous. A lot of people are afraid, because when you represent
That's right.
Muhammad, when you represent
You're
God,
not
when you're unafraid to show them that you're with the man of God, you know, because this is the man who has been repudiated, slandered, lied upon, you know, and persecuted, and the man who they want to crucify. I want you to understand, hear my language. I'm using biblical language for a reason, because you all don't know who the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is, who he represents, and why this world is so terrified, why he's been banned from the United Kingdom since 1985, 1986. Once they saw the minister at Madison Square Garden challenge America
That's right.
to a showdown, okay, they knew that their time had come. And at that point, Britain moved, and he said, this man cannot enter the United Kingdom. Go ahead, Sister Claudia. Let me hear what else is going on today on the Imagination show from our brothers and sisters who are sharing with us this evening. Brothers and sisters, before Sister Claudia says what she's about to say, I do hope you're enjoying our little reflection this evening, reflecting with Brother Leo and Sister Claudia. You know, and I'm trying to work out how to really, when we're presenting the show, quite often, you know, I'm in a little corner up in the corner somewhere, and we've got this big PowerPoint. We're gonna try and solve that problem so that but it may mean just coming off the PowerPoint from time to time, coming back to the big screen, going back to the PowerPoint. But we're trying to work out how to present the show in a manner and in a way that's more appealing, so that you can see us better, you know, rather than just a little thing up in the corners.
To see your gorgeous face.
That's nice of you. That's nice of you, honey.
Right. One lump sum said, I feel you on the shoes. I wish I got mine repaired instead of throwing them away.
Yes.
That's right. Because, you know, this world, just throw it away. Get rid of it.
Yeah.
DJ Mr. P.
Sorry. And I'll just say this. The shoes that I'm talking about, the particular shoe I was talking about, it was made by this designer called Oliver Sweeney. They were very expensive shoes.
Yes.
And I've still got the shoes. They're awesome. You know, like I said, they're over 25 years old. You know, and I've got brogues.
They're older than me.
Yeah, I've got brogues that very strong, beautiful leather. Come on, man, get the shoe repaired, get it resoled, whatever, and keep your old things. Because them old things, they're beautiful, they're strong, they look the part.
That's right.
A lot of these new shoes now,
you don't get shoes like
they're
that.
rubbish.
Yeah,
they're just
they're
all
not
curled up on the end and
some little flat sole.
floppy, stupid
You
something.
know when you see schoolgirls, I don't know if it's like that
Those
in the
little
US. they're called
like they're wearing
like they
nothing,
got
like they're
socks
wearing
on.
socks.
They're so thin, and I think in this cold weather, why?
Rubbish.
But anyway, DJ Mr. P said he's resold his boots many times. But he said also he was chatting with his big sister last night. She's a senior nurse, and she was telling me that the number one cause of people with liver issue is medication, and the number two issue is the alcohol.
Alcohol.
Yeah.
Liver poisoning.
Medication, though.
No, absolutely, beloved. You know, dear family, my wife and I, we pride ourselves on taking no medication.
Yeah. None
We just
at all.
don't.
We don't have our medicine cabinet. Is
It's
the kitchen.
empty.
It's the kitchen.
Yeah, our medicine cabinet is our food.
That's right.
Okay, because that's what our great medical practitioners said. Make your medicine your food.
That's right. Well, that's what we're taught in the nation.
And you know, dear family, you can be so healthy if you would only take time. You got to really take time. You got to learn to read labels. Remember what I said? I think it was last week. I was breaking down that mad little drink that I brought home.
Yes, that poison.
And my wife threw it out because when we looked at the E numbers and stuff, no,
too many.
no,
It's not necessary.
Yeah, you don't have to consume outright poison. You can actually find some clean stuff, you know, and consume that. But then at the same time, leave a gap between your meal.
That's
you know,
right.
We eat far more than what we need to eat.
That's
okay,
right.
You're not gonna die. And out here on the continent, we're looking at these cows.
Oh, they look great.
The cows are so
healthy
and fat.
They're relaxed.
They look, and the cows just move around. They just do their own thing. They move, they cross the road. Nobody tries to rush them and knock them over.
They're all in their crew.
Oh man,
They just walk
it's just a different world.
Yeah.
It's just a different world, you know.
Okay, Sister Sister Paulette also says she doesn't have any medicine. Praise be to Allah.
Praise be to Allah.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, and Brother Victor, we need to really and truly get on the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, How to Eat to Live. Most definitely. That is our saving grace today.
Yes.
Most definitely. You won't have any doctor's bills if you go on to How to Eat to Live.
Listen to
we'll
the
put the doctor out of business.
Out of business. That's what the messenger
That's
says.
right.
He
That's
says,
right.
put the doctor out of business. Because remember, the same doctor that's giving you all these pills and injections or whatever, he's dying before you.
That's right. That's right.
Imagine you go to your doctor and you see the man's fingers covered in nicotine. Think about it. Imagine you go to your doctor and the doctor's fat. Imagine you go to the doctor and you can see the man's fingernails are dirty.
Or he's got the shakes.
Or he's shaking. Or twitching.
Yes. You
Come on.
run, get out of there fast and go and pick up a copy of How to Eat to Live.
Come on, man.
Yes.
You can't go to these people.
No, we can't.
The most honorable Elijah Muhammad said that the only time we should ever go to these people is for a broken bone.
bones.
And in truth, see, we got to get to the point where we got our own hospitals.
That's right.
So that we can fix
great.
our own broken
That's
bones.
right.
But the only time you go to these people is when you've broken a
That's right.
bone.
That's right.
Okay, nothing else.
No.
Go ahead, sis. What else?
Brother Abdul Rahman said, "Thank you, Brother Leah. I will not go into the show. I just thought it will enhance my personal training business."
Yeah, I mean, I say, brother, personal training, that's a wonderful business,
That's
man.
right.
Because our people need that. They need that coaching, that guidance. And, you got a lot of barbers, brother, whose head looks like mine. You don't have to have hair on your head to be a barber. Okay? You don't have to necessarily strip down to be a personal trainer, a personal coach.
That's right.
You just have to show the person how best to take care of their body.
That's right.
And how best to exercise that body in a safe manner that will help them to be in optimum fitness or optimum health. That's it. You don't have to always be on display yourself.
That's right.
In fact, what comes to my mind is that scripture that says when God comes, he comes hiding his power.
That's right.
Think about that. Think about a man, all-powerful being. But he don't put his power on display. He hides it. So you don't even know, you don't even realize that this is God. He comes as a thief in the night. He comes like a servant. He comes making himself of no reputation.
Right. That's right.
Think about that.
That's right.
Because far too many of us as a people, soon as we got something, we want to put it on display.
Yes.
You
But it's the
understand what I'm saying?
mind. It's your mind. This is what people.
Years and years ago, I worked for this Caucasian. We used to work for this Caucasian in Chelsea, in London, in the UK. And he owned a lot of the shops on the King's Road in Chelsea. And this man was also a merchant banker. That was his main profession, a merchant banker, but he also owned quite a number of properties. And as I said, a number of the properties were shops on the King's Road. And he would employ shop fitters. And at that time I was working with a brother, I was partnered with a brother who was a shop fitter. And so we got quite a few of these contracts to fit out the shops, the shelving and things of that nature on the King's Road. And I remember this man showing up a couple of times and he showed up, he drove a Rolls Royce, but the interior of the car was filthy. He had children, he had crisp papers all over the thing, whatever. But when he showed up, he was wearing a pair of jeans and he had a long coat. He had a long, it was around the knee area. The coat was long. And then he had the leather on the elbows of the coat.
Patch.
Yeah, the patches on the elbow, and he had a little bit of leather around the sleeve of the coat, and I think he had some leather on up here as well. And every single time I saw this man, I may have seen this man 60, 70, 100 times. Every time I saw him, he was wearing the same pair of jeans, the same coat and the coat looked flea bitten, the coat looked rough. This man had so much money, but nothing was on this little white man.
Yeah.
You understand? The only thing that you saw kind of like that gave it away was the fact that he drove this Rolls Royce.
Yes.
Okay, but when you looked inside the Rolls Royce, you could see that he just treated it as a tool. It was a car, because it wasn't prestigious inside in terms of it was just dirty, it was all a mess. In fact, he gave it to my friend one day to drive somewhere and pick up some wood. We had to go and get some wood, and we didn't have our van. It had gone to another job, and the only thing that was there was the Rolls.
Okay.
And we took the Rolls, and I had wood sticking out of the window, and I had to sit in the passenger seat holding the wood close to the car because it was sticking out the front window. We didn't want it to go and hit somebody on the sidewalk. So, but I'm saying that to say a lot of white people are like that, okay? They don't display their wealth. They don't necessarily display their power. This is why people like Bill Gates and people like this is why they're so tricky, because they come across so gentle and so genteel and so nice. And these are murderers, man. These are wicked demons. But you would, especially a black person, you would never believe it. You find it hard to believe that these people can be so wicked. But that's how they operate, okay? And we've got to learn how not to show everything that we have, how not to put on display everything that we have, and be that conservative, be a little bit more circumspect, okay? And, you don't always have to show all of your power, show everything that you've got. Because once you do that, you've exposed yourself to your enemies, and they can take advantage, man. They can take liberties. They can come in now, because when you show your power, you also show some of your weakness, okay? Think about it, dear family.
Right.
So, dear family, we are running up to 8 o'clock. I'm hoping and praying that you've been enjoying reflecting with Brother Leo. We do want to hear from you, and if you do have a point that you'd like to share, by all means, put it in the chat so that we can, answer the question or make a comment on what you're saying. We do want to interact with you, but I just wanted to do it like this week because we're out of our normal place of operation.
How's the internet been?
Yeah, and to be honest with you, it's a working holiday. Okay, we've been very busy while we've been out here, and a couple of times we've had a couple of meetings which have been pretty rough in terms of the internet. But praise be to Allah. So far, so good. We haven't had some of our usual problems, but then I haven't had to share the screen or nothing and show anything. So who knows? We'll see what happens next week. Any other comments or views that we can go with?
So DJ Mr. P said it's okay, patchy at times.
Patchy at times.
Okay.
And of course the disappearing acts.
The Houdini act. But that is mainly our family from...
Can we identify...
DJ Mr. P from West London.
Can we identify where anybody else is coming from?
Adija Azim Palmer from the Gambia. We've got who else? Running through this. Normally I write this down.
Yeah.
Did see.
Okay, we got. Is that Lusaka?
Lusanda.
Is that Lusanda
in
South Africa? Wow.
Wonderful. Wow.
I want to come to South Africa, man. I really want to come. I want to. I met brother. I met the brother from the EFF. I met him very briefly one time. He did visit us in the UK, um, for some strange reason, brother's name is Julius. Um, Julius. We met very briefly, but I really want to come to South Africa and meet with the brothers and sisters of the EFF. Want to come out there and meet with our brothers and sisters, you know, on the ground. Malema, that's right, Julius Malema, our brother, man. Thank you. I really would like to touch base with our brother because he's such a strong, beautiful brother, so humble in truth. You know, a lot of his enemies wouldn't say that. A lot of his enemies would say that he's arrogant and that he is crazy and, you know, that he's divisive and all the usual rubbish that they use about strong black leaders. But I really do love the brother. I really admire him, and we need more leaders like that on the continent. We need more people who are willing to tell the truth, stances, regardless of the dangers, of the threats, and so on and so forth. We need people who are deep thinkers in leadership, who are going to have policies and plans that, you know, are practical and workable, and that will really be about the masses of the people reclaiming power, reclaiming the land, reclaiming the resources, and returning these to the indigenous people. And to hell with these interlopers and these who are really taking liberties and taking advantage. It'd be one thing if they came out there and they were willing to take their place and accept the fact that they are a minority and that they should have respect for the indigenous majority and share. You know, not that they must be in charge of anything. They shouldn't be in charge of our diamond mines and our gold mines and our oil. Come on, man, that colonization crap has got to stop. We as Africans, black people, have got to take charge of all of our own resources. And we can't have people outside in London and Washington and Paris and these places setting our prices and we're trying to force ourselves into these marketplaces. And again, we've got to get rid of these little borders that have been created by the Europeans when they carved up Africa, man. Right. We need the United States of Africa. We need the United States of Africa. We need some of these African leaders to sit down. And we need the masses of the African people to come together and vote for a president and one man who's going to be representative of the whole and unite all of the nations and make the nations into states, man. One Africa, powerful. It would be the greatest superpower on the planet overnight if we did that. Africans traveling between these different countries as one people, man. Come on, brothers and sisters. Think about this. What does this say? Julius Malema is a straight talker and I can't read it.
Talker and tells it as it is.
Tells it as it is. That's right. Go ahead, sister, read.
Brother Leo, is that Zoltan the dog barking in the background?
Zoltan.
Memories of our brother Felix Dexter.
Yeah, no, it's not Zoltan. Zoltan was a bit of a devil dog. This dog, they're just, they're not really vicious or nothing like that. They're nice little dogs. They're chilled out dogs. They just sit next to you. They're chilled out dogs. Yes. They sleep in the midday sun. You know.
They're like the people.
Yeah, all the creatures are the creatures are chilled out here, man. They're just relaxed.
So we got family from Eritrea.
Eritrea, wow.
And Flint, Michigan.
Eritrea in the house. Flint,
Just
Michigan in the
very
house.
quickly, because time.
What does this one say? USA, the real USA, United States of Africa. That's right, man.
That's right.
Come on, man.
DJ Mr. P.
That's what we need. That's what we need. We need the United States of the Caribbean.
That's right.
We need unity. Unity is what's preventing us from being, man, from being this great people. Do you think that any of these other nations could challenge a united Africa? No way, beloved. Go ahead.
But remember, it's us keeping this Satan here.
Keeping
because
them
we're
in the
not
power.
uniting. If
That's
we
right.
unite, then that's it.
It's done,
It's
man.
done.
It's done.
It's done.
And let me just say this very quickly, because I know, like, say, for instance, in South Africa, you know, a lot of the South African people, they got a problem with the Zimbabweans coming there and other.
Yeah.
Stop it, man.
We need to stop
Stop
all of
it.
that anyway. All of that.
This is your family.
Yes,
We're and you notice that we don't talk about the white people like that.
Yes.
But we're quick to point the finger at another black
That's
African
right.
and say they're a foreigner. Stop it. There's no such thing as a foreigner, a foreign black person in Africa, man. We're family. We don't matter what part of Africa we come from, what part of the diaspora we come from. This is family. We got to get this. Once we get this, man, and we have that love and that respect and that honor for one another, it's over.
That's right.
It's over. One of the reasons why the Nation of Islam is so feared is because they actually see that we love one another. They can see that. And I'm not saying that's universal and that, you know, we got it all right, because we still, some of us are a bit foolish.
Yes.
But that teaching and what the minister cultivates, the love that he shows, and if we would just follow him and mimic him and copy him, man, and his attitude towards black people, it's over. It's over. Go ahead,
And
sister.
as DJ Mr. P said, this is why they divide and rule, because once we come together, it's all over and they know it. Absolutely, definitely. Thank you, Sister Heather.
Beautiful.
And I don't know if you have time, just be very brief, if you can.
Okay.
If you can. What do you, this is from Change Needed, what do you think of East Africa?
East Africa is awesome, beloved. Awesome. You're talking about Ethiopia, Kenya, and all that. Look, man. Look. You know, Ethiopia. When you talk about the history, I got my good friend goes between Ethiopia and London,
Yes.
and I want to go all over the continent.
It belongs to us anyway.
It's
ours.
you know,
We
and
need to
you
go.
think about Africa, man. Think about all the different climates. Think about the diversity of the land.
right.
It's phenomenal.
That's right.
Family, get yourself ready. Let's get ourselves together. Let's get the hell out of Babylon, and let's get home to our people. Let's become a global family, a nation without borders. We've got to be in the Caribbean. We've got to be in Africa. We've got to be in the Isles of the Pacific. The earth belongs to us.
That's right.
Okay, 196,940,000 square miles of land and water. The whole thing belongs to the original man. It's ours. It's our planet. Okay, and we're tired of the troublemakers on the planet. They're about to get kicked off, and we're going to take charge once again of our home.
That's right.
Thank you, dear
Thank
beloved
you,
family.
family.
Thank you so much for allowing us this time to come into your place of abode, wherever you have been viewing or listening to the Imagination show this evening. This is my beautiful, beautiful wife, Sister Claudia Muhammad. I feel like a very blessed and honored man to have such a wonderful sister in my life, giving me some beautiful children. And dear family, you know, those of you who are not married, get married. Find yourself a beautiful black woman. Find yourself a beautiful black man. They are still out there. They are still around. And the more we build community, the more we have an opportunity to come together in the right environment, the right places where we can meet one another, not in these nightclubs, man. It's just not conducive to a good, long-standing relationship.
Right.
But don't despair if you are currently single or on your own. Have faith, have patience, turn to God.
That's
He will
right.
provide for you. This is how it works. And let us become a family again. Let's get married again. Marriage
right.
does not belong to white people. Stop this. Stop thinking that this is some white man's invention. Marriage is ordained by God.
That's right. Male and female.
Who he puts together, let no
right.
man
That's right.
put asunder,
That's
man.
right.
Marriage is powerful. Get married, family.
right.
Get married. Make a commitment, brothers, to the sister. Stop her from feeling insecure because you're running around all over the place and you won't make a commitment to her. Make a commitment to him, sister. And let's start to rebuild the black family.
That's right.
Because that's how we ultimately end up with our nation. The unity starts with two. May Allah bless you.
Yes, thank you all for tuning in.
Thank
Stay
you.
safe, stay blessed. We are the righteous.
That's
and
right.
look forward to seeing you next week, inshallah.
Inshallah, inshallah. If he spares our life,
That's right.
we'll be with you next week. Take care, family.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, beloved.